Welcome, guys. As usually, let's start with the USD Canadian dollar, and here I draw a resistance zone and a possibility for the divergence, which is played out very well. We had target zones. One of was here, the other was there. And what I'm looking for is actually, in this case, is a bit tricky. I think this could be also in Head and Shoulders, is kind of like, because we see the divergence is forming. Okay, it's just starting, right? But don't forget to have a possibility for this as well. Until this is not broken, we have a possibility for another divergence to the upside. So we should actually break this point first of all to heading to the downside. Okay, so what I'm looking is this, and as you see, it's just forming, and even on the RMI it's not formed yet. Okay, but actually we could see a pretty big move from the USD CAD last week before the close. So this is what I'm looking for, and this should continue to the downside. Okay, this was a daily picture. Let's, this is messier, so let's keep this. Okay, so what we see right now is a clear bearish momentum. Okay, and what I showed you on the DXY, this was something to expect, and those zones are something to expect as low in the price. Okay, I would say let's see between for the fully target zone between this area. This will be the perfect one actually. But in the long term run, I would still say that the XY goes up. Okay, and what's right now happening is just a correction of the market. Okay, I see no divergences yet. We are heading to a structural divergence, but that's it actually. But as I said, it's a clear bearish momentum right now. Okay, so let's continue. Audi NZD, what I see right here is a complete mess. Like the one way, 1 week we going up, the another week we going down. I would wait to have a clear break. This could last for a while actually, but we have to definitely wait for those areas to break first of all. If it's not, then we could see similar things like here, up and down, up and down. Nothing is really happening right there. Okay, as I see, there is no divergence. The momentum turning into red slowly on daily basis as well. So let's see now the bottom. We reached the high. Now we are looking for one bottom, two bottoms. Okay, but it's important to see those ranging areas here. Okay, because you can see the price holds into those areas. So beautiful week. Yes, the Euro CHF played out correctly with the previous high. One back beautiful. Here was also a mini divergence on the bottom. So this was also something to expect a reversal, and not because of the daily picture, because as you see, daily picture in the moment of the divergence was still red. Okay, but we could expect from the bigger picture, and this is also a structural divergence. So what we could witness is here was our low, and this is a pure, let's say, manipulation of the market. And that's when mostly the divergence kicks in. Okay, so we have the close of the candle, and we reached that point, and as you see, it started to bounce. Here were a lot of positions, and the price goes one more round to the downside, and that's exactly the point when it makes a divergence. So those mostly who were in the position for a long-term long, they were out by this divergence, and that's exactly the point when we have to look for that direction for that reversal. Okay, because that's also a repeating pattern not only on the Euro CHF, but you can see this kind of pattern on everything basically. So as you see here was also a beautiful structural divergence. So what does this mean in the common sense? Like you see the bottom of the structure, and you see already here that we are on the same level of price, but what you see on the VVV plus is something completely different. We are closer, a lot closer to the zero line, which means this is not the time yet, but it's getting ready. Because as you know, the bigger movements gonna happen always under or above the zero line. And this is just how it works. As you see here, as you see here, just here slower movement. We breaking the zero line. It starts more aggressively, heading back and comes down. And also in the another direction. Okay, here was a pullback. It was needed, but as you see, the price goes up and it goes directly down. So it can go just to the upside because we were, in this case, under the zero line. So it needs a bit of time to make um, a retest mostly and then continues to the upside. But as you see, if you use just this perspective, you can avoid a lot of bad trades, first of all. And second, you're gonna know what to do in the market. And I think that's most important thing because I see a lot of FOMO um, from the students, and what's actually not a bad sign because they have FOMO, but they also know what to trade on, what is the concrete direction of the market, and that's a very good thing. Just the timing is different of more difficult, let's say that. But as you see, let's say this, for example, you see a forming divergence, you see an aggressive move, and we're breaking this point. This is also a point where most of the traders thinks it's gonna go further to the downside because this level is broken, but it's not. It's not the point, not the point. And that's exactly when the divergence is about to kick in. And when you see something like this, a structural divergence, and you see this, and you see this, so we see three divergences in just one move, then you should know that we have the opportunity to make that long position. And like I said, that's exactly in the first case why we are targeting. So target zones. And as you see, those previous highs, and I can say, I corrugated the VVV zone. So you can perfectly see the lows and the highs, and those are actually potential target zones. Okay, so now you can use it properly because now the weekend close works perfectly fine on the close and on the week as it should. Okay, and yeah, as you see, we have, let's say, two target zones, one here, one here. And if this breaks through, then we are gonna heading to this point. Mostly what we're gonna see, impulse going up, retest around this zone, because mostly when a resistance is about to break, we're gonna see retest on the resistance, and we're gonna go further to the upside into the next possibility of the high. So I would say keep it more simple, and I think that's also something uh, like key to the trading, because when you overcomplicate those things, you're gonna mess up your whole mind and strategy, and this could be actually a lot easier. Okay, the Euro GBP heading, um, let's say this was beautiful divergence heading up and down, and we had a target zone which wasn't reached. Okay, but from where? From this divergence. Okay, this was a possibility of target zone, and that was the fib level on the weekly basis, the 61. Okay, possibility, but let's say we're gonna see another move to the downside. Okay, like it did here, went to the downside, goes up until the previous low. And in this case, we are looking into this until this point didn't break, and we see there is no possibility for divergence. So we are counting on this low until this point didn't break. The structure is not gonna change. Okay, so if this point breaks, there is a possibility to the downside. If this point didn't break, we're gonna have another possibility to the upside, and I'm looking for this mostly. Okay, we just cannot uh, expect from the market to head in one candle to the upside or to the downside. It's just not how it works. Okay, because if it worked like that, everyone would be rich, and that's not the whole point. Okay, we are competing actually against very, very smart people, and in this case, not only people, but also let's say we are competing in our timeline mostly with AIs. Let's say that because mostly the zones and the targets are not manually made it in nowadays. So that's why I have to read it a bit different. Okay, and that's why we can just not expect from the market to heading to the up or to the downside. We are just seeing those size, seeing those lows, seeing those highs, and what the price is reacting. And our job is to react on what is happening. And when we see something like we saw on Euro CHF, I don't know exactly when I made this 3 weeks ago, kind of like, yes, with this big candle. I saw there is a possibility for the divergence, and I didn't know when it's gonna confirm. Okay, but I saw there is the possibility. So I draw it here because if it happens, they're gonna have a pullback, and those pullbacks are faster and mostly changing the structure. Okay, because as you see, just I'm not gonna draw a line here, but just draw a line with your eyes. What you see? That the price is breaking a kind of structure. What was from, I think, March, let's say March, or even from January, let's say from January. Now, same here, okay? As I draw this, only with my eyes, you draw this line. You see there is something about to change. And that's the point when you see those divergences at those particular points, like it's not a coincidence. And same here. You see there is something about to happen or something about to break, and there is one more down move. Okay. And that was exactly on the weekly basis when the divergence was forming. Okay. So this is, I think this is something very interesting, right? Just another view of the market. And here the same. Let's see, we are not seeing any divergences. Okay. So we just can wait and see what's happening on the previous low. Nothing more. Okay. The DXY. The DXY. On a daily basis, heading to the downside, but as you see, there is something that kicks in directly, and that's the volume on the VVV plus. You see there is very low volume, but we are under the zero line. So mostly, what we can see, let's say, we breaking the zero line, coming back to the zero line, and it makes a bigger move. And as you see, let's see this move on a weekly basis. This is also a pure divergence. Pretty same thing as we could see on the Euro CHF. We have a local bottom and they pull the price down. And what we see, okay, they're pulling the price down, but on the VVV plus, we are heading to the upside and there is something about to happen. Okay, structural divergence. Okay, we had here only two divergences, yes, but we could see that the structure is going to do something. Okay, and this was a beautiful move to the upside for a couple of months actually. And I remember I was talking about this as well. Okay, and this was beautiful opportunity. So on weekly basis, like I said, we got here the sell signal, but as you see, there is nothing that we saw actually. What we saw, it was only that the previous structure is broken, yes, and that the price is slowing down. We got the sell signal. For the rest, see the volume is moving to the downside. It's a sign, okay, but breaking the zero line, yes, we're coming back to the zero line or around the zero line. Even if it breaks bit, we are around that zero line, and that's mostly when we're gonna expect if, another move to the upside. But first, let's finish this move. And if when it gonna ends, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 week, we're gonna see. But after that, we're gonna have also a clear direction. And this is the same thing on the bigger time frame. How should planted in the lower time frames as well. But as you see, when you're counting on those divergences, you can expect something from the market. And that's, I think, an important thing, because most of the times when you see those moves together, and I'm not talking about this giant move, that's something else, but I'm looking for only this. Okay, when you see this, then you have to expect something from the market. And what was the way I was thinking this is about to go up? As you see, the structure, let's say, see here a giant move to the upside. But as you see, here are lows as well. And where the price was on the VVV Plus was actually a critical point. Okay, because you see, we are breaking under the zero line and it goes to the downside. So we expect in that moment a bearish movement, but we cannot forget that there is a possibility for the structure, for the structural divergence, and the structure that wants to move further to the upside, or in another case to the downside. Okay, so yeah, what we see right now is also bearish momentum. We are above the zero line, yes, but right now this is, I would say, not the right timing for placing those buy orders, because we will trade against the momentum, and actually that's mostly the point when you get into a bit of profit and it hits your break even or even your stop loss, and it goes a bit more down, and after that it goes up. Okay, and that's mostly the FOMO. Okay, what we see right now on the daily picture is also two indicators, red, one in green. We got the buy signal, but the price is heading down, so mostly this is about to make a divergence. Where it gonna end? Let's say here in first case. I see here connection points. Let's say it's here. But we need an impulse for that, and we need a confirmation that on the destroyer we are not moving to the downside. Even if we're moving to the downside, we're gonna have an oversold. So kind of like is a win-win case, because as you know, when we are mostly oversold or overbought, we need something, a retracement at least, from the market. But the perfect scenario will be this forms a small divergence right there and it moves up. Actually, that will be the perfect scenario. Okay, and as I said here, there is also divergence forming. I'm really not think that this is heading to this point, because it can happen, but what I'm counting on is something different, and that's why we are waiting for confirmations. And if it's forming, then we're gonna have a similar move like this. Okay, and here comes also FOMO part. Okay, when do I enter, or what if I don't picking the lowest point, or whatever is the excuse? Look, let's say you didn't enter here. No problem. Here you got the buy signal, and after that you had 600 weeks or 8 or whoever to make an entry on a smaller time frame or whatever, on even if you trade on a weekly basis. This could be also profitable. And what we are doing with on 15 minutes or 1 minute. Same thing, we are looking for, let's say, on weekly basis after the daily, the weekly close we got here. Let's say we are looking for an entry here. On daily, what we see, nothing very good. We are heading to the zero line, but if you can't enter right there, then going more to the down on the time frame. And we're gonna see here something like, let's see the zero crosses. What we see, we broke the zero line here already, and those are just retests on the market. Even this is a huge move, hundreds of pips. This, after that the price goes up, hundreds of pips. After that the price goes up because the higher time frame is dominating. Okay, and what we see on the smaller time frame is just an small puzzle of the bigger picture. Okay, but as you see, those are points when you can enter in a weekly movement. And as you see on a weekly basis, just heading to the upside, the volume is rising. And here, let's say here is the first candle when you can see the volume is stopping and goes to the downside. But from the another case, we are far away from the slow moving average and slowly goes down. So it reached the high. And then after the high, we're gonna expect a retest. Okay. And pure Fibonacci 6138, whatever you're looking for. But it has to make a correction, and after that, move to the upside, basically. Yes, CXY. On the CXY, I draw here the possibility for the divergence, and that's what I'm saying. Don't know when it's exactly gonna happen, but if it's about to happen, I can react on it because I'm expecting something and I see it happen and I'm just reacting. It's different case because when you see something and let's say enter here for longs, but you see the rest of the picture is not clear, like you have more red than green. So it's taking risk a bit, let's say, unnecessarily. Okay, because you see something is about to happen, but it's not the question that you asking yourself. Okay, you see it's gonna happen. The next question, when it's gonna happen, and when it's gonna happen, when the rest of the confirmations are formed. And here is the first confirmation. Divergence is actually formed. So here now we can see something to look to the upside. And that's exactly the point when we go into the smaller time frames and we are looking for those signs. What we can see, possibility divergence. Okay, one more. Right. Then goes up, but we are far away from the zero line. Goes back down. And now is the point when the price goes up because we are breaking the zero line. It can make also a retest on the zero line and heading to the upside. Okay. Let's see now on 6 hours. Here's a different picture, but we saw the weekly basis. We saw the divergence on the weekly basis. And what we see here, structural divergence forming. So, and that's the point when everything starting to connect. See the difference. You see, okay, the price goes into a lower spot, but what I see on the VVV Plus, that the price is on a higher spot on the VVV Plus, so we are getting closer to the zero line. And we break the zero line. We retest on the zero line and move from the zero line. And here you had a more clear entry because it happened above the zero line, everything turned green and it just goes. Okay. And then target zones. First, I think this was also based on Fibonacci, but let's say this breaks. The next target zone will be here. Simple. Okay. Then AXY. The AXY. Kind of like the DXY in inverse, and I draw here a possibility for break retest on the trend line, but as I said, the last zoom, I think we are gonna reject this line and we're gonna head to the previous high, and this should create a divergence. But also it came under the zero line. Okay. So this is also an important point. And mostly that will be the best scenario if the price slows down and we're creating the divergence and it moves to the downside. That will be the perfect sign. But right now, what we can see is a bullish momentum. So trading into the another side will be reckless. Okay. Now let's see on daily basis what we see on the daily basis. We see a low volume level, right? We see this screen heading to the upside, and we got a sell signal. So the price is moving up, but we have a sell signal. Something is not clear, right? Heading more to the downside, and here you see there are some signs of we are creating highs. Okay, but here if the next move happens to the upside, it will be divergence, and you see slowly the structural divergence. The price goes higher and higher because as you see on the momentum, we're going higher and higher, and we are above the zero line from this point. Okay. So that was something to expect on, but you see the structure is actually changing. Something is about changing, but right now, even if it happens, so let's say we are seeing here a divergence forming, this goes to the downside. As you see on the VV plus, we are above zero line a lot. So it's gonna take time to make an bigger impulse. Even if it moves to the downside, mostly they're gonna pull back. And after that, when we are closer to the zero line, we're gonna have a more beautiful impulse. Okay. Let's say here. You see something similar, not exactly, but you see the low was reached right there. We're breaking the zero line here where we were far away from the zero line. Okay. Couldn't break the zero line, but the next point is on the same spot, but the VV plus comes higher. We're breaking actually the zero line, and one more move to the downside, and after that we are heading up. And this is about to happen again and again and again. Okay. So here the conclusion, even if it moves after the divergence to the downside, we are far away. So even if it goes down, they're gonna have a pullback, and after that, a perfect opportunity to trade on. And that's here comes the when we should trade. The JXY, Japanese yen. I had also target zones right there, and after that right there. Okay. Structural divergence hitting the point, but you see the volume goes to the upside. Okay. I draw here also a possibility for a reverse move because that's in the game. Here we have a high, but even if let's say the price comes here and we're breaking the zero line and it looks like that, that could be a structural divergence or even a divergence. As you see, here is our high. Okay, here we got the sell signal, but actually we are counting on this point. So what we can see is right now pools are forming. As you see, the structural divergence, we can expect the bullish movement, but in the same time, right now, it's still moving to the downside. Okay, because we can say this is the time. Yes, we see the structural divergence we see here, but there are possibilities already. It's didn't start yet, but there are possibilities already for a pullback, which means it could go right here. Let's say right here. But as I said before, we are under the zero line. So first, let's break the zero line. And after that, we can talk or we can see what's about to happen. Like even here, we were under the zero line. Nothing really happened and just kick it in. We made the divergence and started to move. And after that, yeah. But before that, here was a point when we broke the zero line. Took some time, couple of weeks to recover. But made first divergence and after that a reversal divergence. And it went to the downside. Okay. Let's see on daily basis. Daily basis, what we can see is similar. The price is moving to the downside. Yes. But here we're moving to the upside. So the structural divergence. So we are expecting something. And because we are closer and closer to the zero line, let's say on 6 hour or even on smaller time frames, see difference. And when it happens, makes difference. But I'm counting on that because what it happened on the daily or on the weekly basis. But you have to count on the another perspectives. It could go up, but here comes the but. See the possibilities in the market because we are trading on possibilities in the market. Okay, it cannot be 100% sure each time. Okay, we're gonna see patterns that are repeating themselves most of the times, and patterns that we saw 100 or 200 times before. Yes, but still doesn't mean you're gonna be 100% of that. Okay, of course you need to have confidence in what you're doing, right? But see always the possibilities. What's the possibility in this trade? And then just start weekly, daily. Or is it 1 hour, 50 minutes, 1 minute? Or is it 5 minutes, 15 seconds, 1 second? Doesn't matter. Just repeating those patterns. And always the bigger time frame is dominating. Okay, on daily basis. Here happened something similar, as you see. We broke the zero line, but we came from above the zero line. We saw their divergence possibilities, right? And we broke the zero line, but in the same time, just a break. First of all, gonna have a retest. And that's why I said we cannot expect from the market that it goes just to the downside. Okay, so you see here happened, but it's already under the zero line. Beautiful retest on the zero line. So here actually here happened, let's say almost the same thing. We coming from above the zero line, structural divergence goes down. One more back on the zero line, and it happens. Goes up, back on the zero line, and it could go lower, but here comes the but. The low wasn't breached actually on the previous structure, which gives like a hint or a question or just a light in your head on what's happening right there. And let's see what we see on the daily basis. This is a clear momentum to the upside, right? But possibilities. We have here the high, and we are on halfway. Let's say this is actually halfway. But here, yep. Okay, that wasn't the best idea. So here was the high, let's say 70, and the low 15. Okay, and where it is right now is on 50. So 17, 15. So the middle way 35. It's on 50. So it's closer to the upside than to the downside, actually. But as we see here, it's kind of like, okay, you know what? I think, yeah, that could be the 50. Something like that, right? So you're around the 50. But this is a possibility for a divergence to the downside. Can you follow the logic? Write something in the chat. Up. Yes. So the BXY expecting the divergence as rest. The XY to XY and the XY. This XY was a bit more aggressive because it went to the downside and then we went to the upside. Okay. What we see right now is a bullish momentum. But the same thing, it is our high. Here closer, or maybe even. Those are the mm, let's say more difficult patterns to trade on when it moves the same. Okay, when it moves the same, we are talking not about the divergence, but we talking about the convergence in the market. And by the convergence, we can see actually beautiful moves can happen. But those are harder to expect because a convergence can form anytime from nothing, actually, and just goes. Okay. But here comes also the reacting part. We have to react on what we see in the market. Okay, we are heading on overbought zone. But for the rest, nothing on daily basis, which indicates that the price wants to go to the downside. So we are moving up even on weekly. This should continue to the upside. And when it forms, then we should react on it. Okay. The AXY here is target level on the previous point of the market. Everything is in green right now, close to the zero line. Daily basis, similar thing what I showed you before with the divergences, the price moving to the downside, it comes closer. The momentum shift happens, one more down and goes up. And that's also mostly the point when I see a lot of entries here. It goes up, even on, let's say, on smaller time frames, on 1 minute time frame, breaks the structure. Here comes the euphoria, like, yeah, here the trader thinks I am the best. Then it pulls back, and let's say the break even hits, and after that it happens. And I saw a lot of pictures from my students in the past few weeks in this concept. But actually, there's also a point when the non-divergence is forming, and actually, here is a clear momentum on above the zero line when everything's is just forming together. Okay, because you can see here the cross of the zero line, right? But see, here was already crossed on the zero line. It comes a retest on the zero line and it goes. And on a weekly basis, we are still far away. Okay, not that much, but that's what I'm talking about. If this move was happened here, the price was already here, in my opinion. Same thing happened here. It makes a relative big move, but after that, just they pulling back the price. Here, something similar happened. Target couldn't break. After that, it broke the zero line, but just smoothly goes under. And after that, you can see a bigger move to the downside. Okay. So this is in because we are still under the zero line. We see the momentum is forming bullish right now. Yes, but we are still under the zero line. That's something you cannot forget. Of course, if you switch the time frames on a smaller one, you're gonna see it faster. Something is about to happen, but the bigger picture is also important because that gives you a direction. What to trade on, where to trade on. ZXY also target zone, heading to the target zone, breaking the zero line. Also, those structural divergences here, also divergence, but still under the zero line. So we seeing that something is about to happen, and it happens, but not as fast as you know. And this move, for example, these are faster movements in the market because everything's just working out. Okay, there is no divergence, there is just convergence, right? But from the momentum perspective, plays out perfectly from under the zero line. Okay, and we are heading to the target zone. The gold. What I'm expecting from the gold is actually here divergence to be made, but this was previous week as well. It was kind of like here. Yep, here was a zoom. Saturday, Sunday. So the market started with bear candle, and after that we could see a smooth bull candle to the upside. We are above the zero line, so we were expecting this move. Breaks, retest, goes. Played out perfectly. But right now, what we cannot know yet, what is the next move of the market? I mark here the divergence, but in the same spot, the gold can make an all-time high from this move, actually. And after that, I think when it's made it, think about the Euro CHF, the chart of the Euro CHF. A lot of orders are here, okay? A lot of orders are here. And let's say we breaking the all-time high, and there's somewhere forming, we are forming a divergence. And I think this could be also a structural divergence in the first case. Then a lot of positions gonna be triggered here in this zone. I'm sure of that because people are counting on this. And that's exactly why this has the possibility to break the all-time high. And after that, I think we can see something to the downside. Because I've repeated this loads of times, but there is something about to happen on the bigger picture. Yes, we are above zero line, that's sure, but this kind of divergence we didn't saw in the past 50 years. So yeah, even more. Okay, and here is also forming a structural divergence. And as you see, here is also forming a structural divergence. As said, we have not enough data, but same thing. Let's say that 12 month is the weekly picture. I'm heading to the 6 month. See, low volume. The price is heading towards the zero line. The structure makes divergences. There is divergence. Okay, which is not that sexy, is this actually? The pie is formed right there. That's not that sexy, but you can see those divergences. And let's say 3 months is now the 6 hours. See, we don't have enough data, but similar thing between the two, structural divergence. Here, the price doesn't really know what it wants because it's getting crazy. And that's why I'm saying I think they're gonna make an all-time high, and after that, it's gonna crash. And then we are heading to the monthly. Okay, this is a lot. We see a lot more information on this. But as you see on monthly basis, here we have the high. Okay. And as you see on the monthly basis, here we have the high. But if the price makes an aggressive move to the downside and the volume doesn't follow, this could be easy and divergence on the monthly base. Right there. Okay. And as you see in the structure as well, and we are coming closer to the zero line. Okay. So yeah, this is what I want to see on daily basis. But you can see again a possibility for a divergence. So let's see first of all what the price reacts here. And from the momentum perspective on smaller time frames like daily, weekly, goes right now to the upside. Momentum is green. Like I said, just not overcomplicate those things. Let's see the economic calendar. Also an interesting point that there is no NFP this week, Friday. We're gonna have an easy Monday, new home sales. I think it's not a big thing. Could bring some liquidity, but definitely not something big, in my opinion. Um, PMI from the euro, nothing extreme. This on Tuesday on 8 o'clock. This could bring some liquidity as well. As after that, Wednesday interest rate decision from the NCD, 2 o'clock. Watch out for this. If you have positions, a lot of high impact news from the euro. This could bring definitely something of liquidity in the market together. It continues 11, but I think nothing big. Inflation rate could bring liquidity, and after that, the GDP to 30. Then we are heading to Thursday. Thursday, unemployment change. It's a bigger thing. Retail sales, some liquidity, not the biggest. CPI 11. That could be something big. GDP, core PCA, and jobless claims. Also, high impact news on Thursday. And then we are heading to Friday, and Friday unemployment rate, a small one, but this could bring something in the market. This also together, it's stupid hours like 30, 45, 50. So it's gonna be continuously something. Careful with that. And after that, employment change and unemployment rate from the Canadian dollar, definitely something to look on. And we're gonna have a PMI from the USD and a power speech for ending the week. So this is for next week. Thanks for your attention, guys. I see you next week. Have a great evening. Bye bye.